regard to the power of reflection for a moment. Just as it's important in life to, in the listening, shall we say, it's both inner and outer. Reflection also encourages and requires from us quite some precision and accuracy as much as we can. That means that a reflection, either with ourselves, for ourselves, or in relationship to others, requires an accuracy in the memory. It's very easy for the reactivity in the present to distort and discolor what was said or what happened. And this generates immense conflict, obviously. So the calm and the quietude of the being is the best present moment condition, shall we say, for reflection. So if somebody said something to us, which we liked or disliked, approved of, it isn't, be extremely accurate with what was actually said, not exaggerating it, but neither dismissing it. With reflection as well, those of us who have had the privilege of being in relationships, those of us who have had the privilege of learning about ourselves through some discord, disagreement, or whatever, there is always, not always, but mostly, a quiet voice inside, no matter what is said. And those of us who are in even a minor public role of teaching or whatever, that what is said to us, my response is inwardly, with training over the years, is this is what the person is saying to me now. Well, nothing more. It's a fact, it's true, and it's useful. Whether the person is, as it were, praising one to heavens high, or one thinks one should be disposed of through one's critical voice, whatever it might be, politics, environment, or whatever. This is what the person is saying now. And it's been a really beneficial, I find for myself, support. So when I meet her, him, them again, whatever that might be about, there's a certain freshness in which, to quote the Buddha, one is not carrying the image of the old and imagining this is what it will be in the next communication. Not carrying from the past the impact of the other. This is what the person is saying now. In the reflection this morning, might have set myself up here, might I, to be accurate, but in the reflection this morning, I'd just like to pick out a few points with you of the many that were said. So in the area of mindfulness and meditation, memory and reflection, we are interested in all of this. And with that, we began with the mindfulness of presence, not making the here and now some absolute, because it's too, for me, too confining there, but to really see the value and the importance of real presence. And we gave presence to the body. We then expanded out and the recognition of the four primary postures, sitting, walking, standing, and reclining. And with the latter one, though we're not using it today, but nevertheless, it's an important feature of everyday life there. And it may be for some who have a lot of difficulty with sleep and insomnia and restlessness and so forth, to look at the relationship to today, in a way, staying awake to today, and seeing and exploring and experimenting what is the process which allows that flow into the deep sleep state. And it is a practice. And that practice in the evening time, particularly what do I eat, what time do I eat, how much do I eat, am I filling up the mind with a lot of stimulus from television, computers, or whatever it might be, and much during the day. So that we experiment with all of that, even the direction we are sleeping in, the pillow and so forth, as a practice to see for those who need that contribution and subtle changes to allow the flow into the deep sleep state. Others, it's just being horizontal posture and letting and feeling the whole being, whether on our back or on our side, just feeling the whole being rest. It might well be the last posture of our existence. And therefore, as we did when we were monks, lots of practice in what is regularly called the death posture. And learning to be at ease with change and transitions in this posture. But also in our relaxation, as with the other postures, insights, things get clear. And sometimes I find, and perhaps you do as well, that sometimes we wake up with a really good idea. Out of the depth comes something, it's like, wow, yes. We trust it and we follow it through. So the deep can be a contribution, is a contribution to us, and deep sleep and some depth of meditation, depth of awareness, depth of reflection can contribute. The sources are infinite. As well, in the receptivity, that in this case, your receptivity, in what you, several of you shared there, sometimes I find, and perhaps you do as well, that in the sharing of there, that the sharing actually makes something extra clear. It's not that the listener, which is us, or whatever, what we say is that important. But sometimes more importantly, the fact of the sharing kind of confirms it. It gives it a little bit more authenticity, a bit more substance and reality. And with regard to that in the daily life, something which I mentioned to people as well as myself, I might read something. A thought may arise about something which is useful. Quite often, I've got through many notebooks like this, write it, few words down. Sometimes the speaking out of the sentence, nobody's there, you know, I'm at the kitchen table or I'm at the desk, but the reading of it out loud gives it a bit more oomph to it. It has a bit more of being in the real than just thinking about it. And so our voice, you know, in the movement of the inner, there's some feelings, yes, there's some thought and conceptions, and that moves in the being, and it might move to some thoughtful reflection, which is useful, but sometimes we need the voice. We need just to say it well, say it out loud. And that tone, that trust in the power of the voice gives something a bit more oomph, a bit more motivation and energy to follow through. Do use your voice. Liberate the voice. You don't need an audience for that. Or you can have the audience of the birds and the trees in the local park. And incidentally, this is the Bodhi tree organizers here. As I was walking up Queen Street, which I didn't notice before because I wasn't looking for it. I was looking for 113 earlier on. I saw a small little park, some trees and grass, etc. This is the Garden of Eden near Brighton Station. So if you kindly invite me whenever, another time, another year, whatever, remind me. We can go to the park and meditate. It's a little bit more challenging for the sound levels and the curiosity seekers, but nevertheless, my daughter, in Letchworth, she has this well-being center. And I thought, my God, the gods are with us because there's a small park. I couldn't wait to get out of a lovely new center. And we're doing our practice in the park, along with the mums wheeling the kids and the parents and fathers playing with their kids and others playing. We just did our practice out there. It was lovely. Anyway, park, outdoors, nature. What could be better? In here, so your good voices, perhaps a point or two you said or heard there, perhaps a point or two from this person here. The expanse of the four postures. With the development finally of all the four postures, your experience is the confirmation. And what I mean is you get very familiar in the daily life, what could be better for this, with each of the postures, you'll begin to recognize certain kind of mind states for you, working with them, work better with the particular posture. That you'll begin to recognize and see. And sometimes with the upright posture, it's none of the formal ones, but it's more movement, the yoga and the dance, and much, much more to get the energy flowing in precious ways. So, lovely thing with Bodhi Tree and others, that there is what's being offered is a genuine diversity of teachings and practices. None of us want to be boxed in. So again, good eyes and ears open for what's on offer here, there, and everywhere as well. In this period of time, let's have a 20-minute sitting again. We'll make this one silent one. No reminders from myself. There with you. And then afterwards, I'll put you into the pairs and the dialogue form. And use, of course, questions you can use in the chair, whatever. I'm enjoying sitting in the chair. I'm usually